The end of World War II marked a significant turning point in history. The conflict had cast a long, dark shadow over Europe, leaving behind a trail of devastation and despair. As the Allied forces advanced, the true horrors of the Holocaust were being revealed to the world. The liberation of concentration camps exposed the unimaginable atrocities committed by the Nazi regime. The once formidable Nazi regime lay in ruins, its cities reduced to rubble and its leaders scattered. Many high-ranking Nazi officials faced arrest and trial for war crimes and crimes against humanity. The world demanded justice for the millions of lives lost and the countless others forever scarred by the war. The Nuremberg trials, held from 1945 to 1949, sent a clear and resounding message to the world. The international community sought justice for the atrocities committed during the war, and the trials were a pivotal moment in the establishment of international law. Fear gripped those who had participated in the Nazi regime. They knew that their actions could have severe consequences, and the prospect of facing justice was terrifying. Many Nazi officials were consumed by anxiety, knowing that their past deeds could lead to imprisonment or even execution. The prospect of imprisonment or even execution drove many to seek escape. The fear of retribution was a powerful motivator, pushing them to take drastic measures. Europe, still reeling from the war, offered few safe havens. The continent was in chaos, and finding refuge was a daunting task. The search for refuge led many Nazis to look beyond the continent, towards countries with more lenient views of their past. South America, in particular, became a popular destination for those seeking to escape justice. As the Allies closed in on Berlin, many Nazis saw the writing on the wall. They knew that their time was running out, and some chose to take their own lives rather than face capture. Some chose suicide rather than face capture. The most infamous of these was Adolf Hitler, who took his own life in his bunker as the Allies closed in on Berlin. Others went into hiding, hoping to blend into the chaos of post-war Europe. They adopted new identities and tried to disappear into the civilian population. However, for many high-ranking officials and individuals with significant resources, escape became a priority. They used their connections and wealth to secure passage to distant lands. This desperation created a demand for ways out, a demand that did not go unnoticed by those who saw an opportunity for profit. Smugglers and corrupt officials were more than willing to help, for a price. The world was watching the Nuremberg trials unfold. The trials were a landmark event, setting a precedent for how the international community would handle war crimes in the future. The trials marked a turning point in international law. They established the principle that individuals could be held accountable for war crimes, regardless of their rank or position. They established the concept of individual responsibility for war crimes. This was a significant departure from previous norms, where only states or military units were held accountable. The proceedings were meticulously documented, and the evidence presented shocked the world. The sheer scale of the atrocities committed by the Nazis was laid bare for all to see. The trials served as a stark reminder of the human cost of war and the dangers of unchecked ideology. They underscored the importance of holding individuals accountable for their actions. For Nazis on the run, the message was clear. There was no escaping accountability for their crimes. The world was determined to bring them to justice, no matter how long it took. The pursuit of justice was not all-encompassing. While the world was focused on bringing Nazi war criminals to justice, there were many who slipped through the cracks. The aftermath of World War II left Europe in a state of chaos, and amidst this turmoil, a shadowy network emerged, dedicated to helping these fugitives evade capture. Despite the global effort to apprehend war criminals, a network of sympathizers and collaborators remained active in Europe. These individuals, often operating in the shadows, provided crucial support to those seeking to escape justice. They were a mix of ideologues, opportunists, and those who simply wanted to protect their former comrades. Some were motivated by ideology, still clinging to Nazi beliefs. They saw the fugitives as heroes or martyrs, deserving of protection and support. These sympathizers were often former members of the Nazi Party or individuals who had been deeply indoctrinated by its propaganda. Others were driven by opportunism, willing to aid fugitives for financial gain. The post-war economy was in shambles, and for some, helping Nazis escape was a lucrative business. They provided safe houses, transportation, and forged documents, all for a price. This network provided escaping Nazis with false documents, safe houses, and financial assistance. These resources were crucial for those on the run, allowing them to assume new identities and evade capture. The creation of these false documents was a sophisticated operation, often involving skilled forgers and corrupt officials. Former intelligence agents and members of the Catholic Church were among those who played a role in these clandestine operations. Some members of the Church believed they were providing humanitarian aid, while others were ideologically aligned with the fugitives. Intelligence agents, on the other hand, often had their own reasons for assisting, including the hope of gaining valuable information. Their actions allowed war criminals to melt into the shadows and begin their journeys to far-flung corners of the world. These journeys were often long and perilous, involving multiple stages and numerous risks. The fugitives had to constantly be on guard, knowing that capture could come at any moment. One of the most active groups involved in aiding Nazi escapes was Odessa, which stands for Organisation der Ehemaligen SS Angehörigen, or Organization of Former SS Members. This organization was believed to have been founded by former SS officers who were determined to protect their comrades and ensure their survival. This shadowy organization, believed to have been founded by former SS officers, used its connections and resources to smuggle Nazis out of Europe. Odessa's operations were highly secretive, making it difficult for authorities to track their activities. They had a vast network of contacts and safe houses, which they used to move fugitives from one location to another. Odessa operated with a high degree of secrecy, making it difficult for authorities to track its activities. Despite this, evidence of its existence and operations has been uncovered over the years. These discoveries have shed light on the lengths to which some were willing to go to protect their former comrades. However, evidence of its existence and operations has been uncovered over the years, revealing the lengths to which some were willing to go to protect their former comrades. These revelations have come from a variety of sources, including declassified intelligence documents, testimonies from former members, and the discovery of secret files. The escape routes were often dangerous and fraught with uncertainty. Fugitives had to navigate treacherous terrain, avoid detection, and rely on the assistance of those willing to help them. These routes often took them through remote areas, where the risk of capture was lower, but the dangers of the journey were higher. Fugitives traveled under assumed identities, relying on the complicity of those who turned a blind eye or actively aided their escape. These false identities were meticulously crafted, with forged documents and backstories designed to withstand scrutiny. However, the risk of being discovered was always present, and many fugitives lived in constant fear of capture. The journey often involved multiple stages, with stops in neutral countries or former Axis territories. These locations provided temporary refuge, allowing fugitives to regroup and plan their next move. The journey was often a long and arduous one, with many fugitives spending months or even years on the run. Each step presented risks, and capture remained a constant threat. Border crossings were particularly dangerous, with guards on high alert for anyone attempting to flee. Fugitives had to be resourceful and quick-thinking, often relying on bribes or the assistance of sympathetic officials to get through. The dangers faced by escaping Nazis underscored the lengths to which they were willing to go to avoid justice. Many were willing to risk everything to evade capture, knowing that being caught could mean a death sentence. Their determination and the support they received from their network of sympathizers allowed many to successfully escape and start new lives in distant lands. Across the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean, Argentina emerged as a potential haven for fleeing Nazis and other European refugees in the aftermath of World War II. The country, under the leadership of Juan Perón, had maintained a neutral stance throughout much of World War II, which positioned it uniquely in the post-war geopolitical landscape. Perón's government was characterized by a blend of nationalism, populism, and authoritarianism, which resonated with many Argentines who were disillusioned by the existing political order. This political climate proved attractive to Nazis seeking refuge, as it offered a semblance of ideological alignment and a promise of safety. Perón's Argentina offered a combination of factors that made it an appealing destination for these individuals. These included a sympathetic government that was willing to turn a blind eye to their past actions, a large and well-established German immigrant community that could provide support and cover, and a vast and sparsely populated territory that made it easier for them to disappear and start anew. Argentina had a long history of immigration, with a significant influx of Europeans arriving in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, seeking better opportunities and a new life. Among these immigrants were many Germans, who established thriving communities and businesses in Argentina, contributing to the country's economic and cultural landscape. This well-established German-Argentine community provided a degree of cultural familiarity and a network of potential supporters for arriving Nazis, making their transition smoother. Perón's rise to power in 1946 marked a significant turning point in Argentine history. He cultivated an image of a strong leader who stood up for the working class and challenged foreign influence, which endeared him to many Argentines. His policies, often described as Peronism, resonated with many Argentines who were seeking stability and national pride after years of economic turmoil and political instability. For Nazis seeking a new home, Perón's Argentina seemed to offer a fresh start, a place where they could rebuild their lives away from the scrutiny of war-torn Europe. Perón's government also embarked on ambitious social and economic programs aimed at modernizing Argentina and improving the lives of its citizens, which further solidified his support base. His wife, Eva Perón, played a crucial role in his administration, championing the rights of the poor and working tirelessly to improve social welfare. Eva, affectionately known as Evita, became a beloved figure in Argentina, and her efforts helped to humanize Perón's regime and garner widespread support. Together, Juan and Eva Perón created a powerful political movement that left a lasting impact on Argentina's history and society. Under Perón's leadership, Argentina experienced significant changes, both positive and negative, that continue to shape the nation's identity to this day.